Hi, I'm Rachel, and today we're going through a mini workout on the Alina combo chair. I have it set up with both handles in place and our straps attached to the top hook. No springs on. We're going to start with a warm-up with the straps. So I'm sitting more or less in the center of my mat. I have the toes on the pedal and the heels are relaxed onto the mat. I take the handles. Here I'm starting with no tension. I have a straight spine. I'm right on my sit bones. I inhale. Exhale, I start rounding from the base of my spine, rolling the tailbone under, finding that rounded feeling in the lower back, pulling the abdominals in, and I stop halfway and take an inhale. Exhale, I lift from my chest to go forward, and I restack the spine. Inhale at the center. We go again. Exhale, rounding from the base of the spine, and we're rolling towards the mat. Tailbone is sliding under. We stop halfway. We inhale and hold, and exhale, rolling all the way back up to the center. Open the chest, straighten the spine. Inhale. One more time here. Exhale. Rolling down. Holding here for an inhale. Exhale, lengthen the chest forward and restack the spine. I place the right handle back to the floor and I bring my right hand on top of my left. I'm rolling down to halfway and I'm holding. My hips are center and I've rotated in my chest towards that left side. I exhale to lift 1 inch higher. Inhale to deepen 1 inch lower. Exhale, lift 1 inch higher. Inhale, deepen. I'm focusing on both sides of my waist as I exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. We go for 2 more. And down. And we have 1. And down. I rotate back to the center, lift up, and change sides. Taking the handle in the right hand, cross my left hand over. Rotate in the chest and roll down to halfway. Holding here, I exhale to lift up 1 inch. Inhale, deepen 1 inch. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. I think of the lift coming right from my rib cage. I'm trying to keep my hips and legs stable. And we go for 2 more. Lift and down and 1 more. Lift and down. Turn the chest back to the center and roll all the way up. We're going for a full roll down. So this time I take both handles and I lengthen my legs and connect my legs together. My feet are just resting over the top of the pedal. Here I'm going to find a C curve and hold my position. Inhale. Exhale, I start to roll down, thinking about moving my lower back towards the mat, the rest of the spine following. I'm maximizing the rounding of the spine, and then here I'm going to open the chest and place my head on the mat. To come up, I inhale and lift my head forward, lift my chest. I find my power position here. So I'm in thoracic flexion with the rest of my spine pressing towards the mat. Exhale, start to lift 1 vertebra at a time, letting the handles assist me, squeezing my legs together to keep my inner thighs active. And I find my C curve at the top and I inhale here. We repeat. Exhale, rolling from the base of the spine to roll down, maximizing my posterior tilt in my pelvis, and then lengthening the head back to the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, lift the chest. Roll all the way back up. Find your C curve and hold. And we go for 1 more. Rolling down through the spine. Trying to get the lower back to touch the mat. Find your power position. Then the chest follows. Holding here, inhaling, and rolling all the way back up. Letting the handles assist you. Feel your abdominals working, inner thighs connected. Find your C curve. And we lengthen back up to the center. Good, we take the handles back to the floor and now I'm going to prepare the chair for footwork. I like stronger footwork, So I'm going with 2 springs on the top level, so I've got a 4-4. Once you've got your springs where you want them, you're going to sit onto the edge of the chair, press the pedal slightly forward, and we're going to start with our parallel heels position. So here you want to have your pubic bone quite far towards the edge of the chair, and I'm bringing my hands to the back of the chair. I have a slight bend in my elbows, and I'm pressing my hands against the chair. So my arms are active, but I'm not using them to support. I've got my parallel position. I dorsiflex through my feet. I inhale here. As I exhale, I push the pedal down, trying to keep the spine in the same position. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. Pressing down. As I lift, I'm thinking of my knee meeting my hip line. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. We go for 2 more. Sit bones heavy on the chair. 1 more. Lift and hold here. Place your toes onto the pedal. Find your plantar flexion. Inhale and exhale, press the pedal. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. Try to keep the pelvis stable, the spine long, abdominals active to support your position. And we go for 2. And we go for 1. And center. We're going to external rotation. Take the heels wide on the pedal. Think about the rotation coming from your hips. In external rotation, it's easy to let the pelvis roll under, so we think about pulling the hip bones away from each other to stay nice and open but engaged through our center. Reset the position of your arms. Breathe in. Exhale, press the pedal down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. 2 more. If you can, you're pushing the pedal all the way down, but feel your sit bones grounded all the time on the chair. Holding here, we change to our toes. Same alignment with the leg. You have your external rotation. Find your plantar flexion in the feet. Think about your ankle bones going towards each other, but the hips opening away from each other. Reset the position of your arms. Feel your abdominals engaged. Exhale, pressing down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. And we have 2 more. And 1. And center. Coming back to parallel position on the toes, I'm going to take this to a single leg. I keep my resistance the same on a single leg, but feel free at this moment if you want to lighten the spring load slightly. This is your opportunity. We find the plantar flexion. We reset the position of the arms. Keep your left leg on the pedal. Extend your right leg straight in front of you. We're taking 5 presses down. Exhale for 1. Inhale, lift. Exhale for 2. Inhale, lift. And 3. And lift. And 4. And lift. And 5. Lift and hold. Change the leg. If holding the leg out straight is a little bit demanding, you can rest the leg on a reformer box if you have it, or on a Pilates fit ball. Exhale, press, and lift. Exhale, press, and lift. 3 more. And 2. And 1. Bring the left foot back to the pedal. Moving our focus now to the upper body. I'm on a 0-3 and we're going for side over. Sitting onto the chair, I hook my front heel just around the edge of the chair. My other leg is extended in parallel. I'm plantar flexed and the toe is just resting on the floor. I have the center of my hand on the pedal. I reach over to find a diagonal line and this is my starting position. I've internally rotated my top arm. And I bring my gaze down to the hand on the pedal. I inhale as I reach away, opening through the side of my body. Exhale, lift until that diagonal line and hold. Inhale, lengthen over. Exhale, lift and hold. And we go for 3. Exhale, lift and hold. And we go for 2. Exhale, lift and hold. And 1. Lift, find your diagonal line and lengthen all the way to the center. Before we go to the other side, we turn to face the chair and we're going for swan. Bring your hips down onto the chair, push the pedal away from you and find a position where your hands are under your shoulders. I've connected my legs into external rotation. I'm holding my abdominals in. I'm thinking about pulling the pedal towards my hips. Thinking about thoracic extension. I start to reach with the crown of my head and open my chest. Inhale, pulling the pedal towards me. And exhale, reach back down. Inhale, lifting, thinking about my upper back, working to lift. And exhale, lower. 3 more like this. Pulling the pedal towards my hips, reaching through my upper back and lower. 2 more. Exhale, lower. On the last one, I lift. I find a hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Lengthen back down. I take my hand to the chair and I lift myself back onto the floor. Turning to face the other side for our side over. The leg that's on the chair, you hook the heel around the front of the chair and the leg in the side is in parallel. Fingers facing away from you and the top arm goes to internal rotation, looking down towards the pedal. I find my diagonal line. I inhale as I reach over. I exhale as I lift my diagonal line and hold. Inhale as I reach. Exhale as I lift and hold. We have 3. Lift and hold. And we have 2. And lift and hold. And 1. Lift and hold. And bring the body up. Coming back around onto your mat. We're going to take a pike sitting. So I'm keeping the same spring. I'm on a 0-3. I push the pedal down and I bring my toes to rest on the edge of the chair. Now I want to think about rounding through my lower back as much as I can. I'm thinking about connecting through the side of my body into my lats. And I'm using my arms. As I exhale, I push the pedal down, pulling my abdominals in. And inhale, lift the pedal up without changing the shape in the body. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Feel the connection from the legs into your pelvic floor, into your abdominals. Inhale, lift. 2 more. Exhale, press. And lift. The last one. We press. And lift. Then we bring the legs back to the floor and let the pedal come up. We're going to finish with some lunging. So I'm taking this on a 3-4 for the lunge. We're doing a prep, so I'm going to use the handles today. But if you're a little bit more advanced in your practice, feel free to use this with the arms in a T position. I start with my hands on the pedal. And I'm facing with my fingers forward, resting my hands flat on the pedal. I take my feet onto the pedal, pressing down, plantar flexion, and then my right foot comes forward. As I'm a bit taller, I keep my toes right to the front edge here, so I have as much range in my legs as I can. I start to push down with the heel that's on the chair, and I'm lifting up through the body, trying to keep my knee over my ankle as much as I can. And at the top, I lift lift my foot away from the pedal. Find a moment where I have my balance. My fingers are on the handles for support. Connect my toes back to the pedal. And I'm thinking about sending my pelvis back. My hands go flat onto the handles. I'm trying to keep my knee more or less over my ankle. And just before the pedal touches the floor, I lift straight back up. Transfer all the weight to the foot that's on the chair. Find that moment of stillness. Connect the foot back to the pedal, reaching it down. And we go for one more. Lengthen and lift. Open the chest. And connect the foot back to the pedal. This time you're going to press all the way back down. Once you feel the pedal safely on the floor, we can change the legs. Set the foot on the pedal and bring the other leg forward onto the chair. Squaring off the hips. Remember, your hands are there to assist you, but we want the legs to do most of the work. Try as much as you can to maintain the line of the knee over the ankle and try to avoid going too far forward into flexion on that knee. Push the heel down on the chair, start to float the pedal away from the floor, and we're lifting up through the legs. At the top, you bring the foot away from the pedal, feel the length, all the weight's on the foot on the chair, then connect the toes back on the chair, start sending the pelvis back. Keep the knee more or less over the ankle. Just before the pedal touches down, we lift straight back up. Feel the back of the leg working. Float the foot away from the pedal. Reach it back. And press down. And lift. And we come all the way. The last one. Exhale. And we connect. Bring the pedal all the way to the floor. And we step off, let the pedal come up. Thank you for joining me on this mini workout on the chair. Hope to see you again soon.